and we had edibles, so we were like really high, and I was sitting on the bus, and I remember I was just trying so hard not to laugh, and I just couldn't, like I was sitting there just laughing the entire way on the bus ride. Like I looked like an insane person riding the bus.
荷兰于1976年将吸食大麻除罪化后，今年有许多国家也开始将医疗大麻甚至是娱乐大麻合法化，但在台湾，大麻则被列为2级毒品。日前更有知名艺人因为吸食大麻遭到逮捕。那么在台湾的外国朋友们，他们有食用大麻的经验吗？他们对于台湾的大麻现况以及各国的合法化风潮又有什么看法呢？
So, have you personally tried marijuana before?
No.
Would you like to?
I might, in a country where it's legal, of course.
No, never. I think I've never been interested.
So, have you two ever tried marijuana before?
Ooh,
I'm from Colorado, and it's legal in Colorado. And I actually didn't try it until it was legal.
In Israel, it's illegal, but you tried anyway.
Yeah, I have once in California.
And how was the experience?
It was enjoyable. It's pretty common back home.
I liked it a lot, especially when like friends come over to my house and we just like eat and have fun, watch fun videos, and talk about everything. I think it brings people together.
No, never.
And why is that?
I think it's uncertain what the impacts it has on health are. Also, I really don't like the smell.
Yeah, I did it once in the Netherlands. It was just nice, the atmosphere in the coffee shop, but I didn't really feel like I was having drugs or anything.
Done it like 2-3 times maybe, so not very often. Because I like to be in control of my actions, I guess, and like be fully, mentally fully clear, and yeah.
Were there any hallucinations?
No.
I know it can make you feel good sometimes, but usually on the long terms, people who do smoke marijuana a lot, they tend to have lower brain capacities, they tend to have issues focusing on things.
I have some friends that like love it, it helps them sleep, it helps with pain. I think that's a big thing, is using it for medical purposes is very helpful.
A lot of people with like more of anxiety issues or depression or whatever find it really good for them.
Yeah, very helpful.
Would you like to elaborate on the experience? Like tell us a story that's fun, or have you ever had a bad trip before?
I'm a vegan. All my friends are not, they eat meat. But then one time we were at my place, they like wanted to eat something, like, so they grabbed my vegan sausages and I was like, boys, those are my vegan sausages. Like, you don't even want to eat them because when they're like normal, they're like, it's disgusting. But then when we were all high, they were like eating it and eating it.
Yeah, I guess one time my friend was visiting me and we were in downtown Denver actually, and we had edibles, so we were like really high. I hope I never run for office one day. This interview is gonna come back to me. Sorry. So we were really high and we were trying to get home to the apartment, and I was sitting on the bus, and I remember just thinking, like, in your head you're thinking everyone knows you're high and you're paranoid. Right. And I remember I was just trying so hard not to laugh, and I just couldn't, like I was sitting there just laughing the entire way on the bus ride, and I look back at that now, I'm like, I looked like an insane person riding the bus in Denver.
My first time, I remember it was in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, and I got lost with my friend for maybe 3 hours. That was fun. That was really fun. But it could be dangerous in other cities maybe. Right. But in Amsterdam, I'm sure they're used to it, so it was funny.
Well, I was in Australia, also had edibles, and having cookies. And yeah, I was just sitting on the beach with a friend, having fun, laughing a lot. And they had Christmas lights also, and I just really remember looking at the Christmas lights, thinking this is like magical. So twinkling and fun.
And in Canada, it's been legalized.
Yeah, it has been legalized. I think it still has caused some unforeseen consequences where individuals are now high and driving. So similar to drunk driving, people are driving while high, and it creates a lot of issues. Yeah.
And are you personally for legalizing it or against it?
There are a lot of different factors. I think one of the reasons for legalization was to help the country make money.
The one thing that does always come up again is that contrary to alcohol, you can't really overdose on marijuana, and to consume the amount you would need to actually, physically hurt you, it is basically impossible. So that is definitely one of the things that is what I find quite positive about marijuana. Although I might not have consumed it myself, I would push for legalization.
I also don't agree in legalizing the marijuana. It's a drug, and okay, alcohol is legal. It's legal because that's tradition in a way, but like I think if you would legalize marijuana, okay, everyone's happy for a few years. Yes, we have marijuana, but then okay, now we want next step ecstasy, and I think yeah, you can always. There's no end in the story.
In France, in my country, it's not legal, but actually it's quite common. I know many friends who have been tried or who have been using.
It's still illegal, but we're really chilled about it. You can just sit anywhere, in a restaurant, on the street, smoke, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all good about it, as long as you're not in the army.
So essentially the law is that for, they call it recreational use, you can when you're over 21.
To smoke in your private property, yes. You are not allowed to buy or to smoke in the street, so I'm not sure how you are supposed to smoke at home.
Well, in Mexico you can have like 10 grams of marijuana. It isn't like totally legal.
Germany is not yet legalized, right?
No, but in the Netherlands, and sometimes we like get over there.
I would just say in general people are chill about this.
In general, I mean, at the same time, like if you were to walk down the street just puffing away, like you'd probably get some dirty looks.
Honestly, a lot of people have been growing marijuana in their backyards that I know of for years. It's kind of a in-joke that, yeah, oh, it's been legalized. Well, yeah, duh, it's been going on for a while.
And have you noticed any changes in Colorado since it's been legalized?
Now there's a pretty big business boom for dispensaries, areas selling marijuana.
I think that it's a good thing that it was legalized in California because before, you had people ending up in jail for marijuana. I don't think that's right because honestly, you have people, at least in America, who are actually committing real crimes.
When someone is high, it's less of an annoyance or whatever than someone being drunk, because mostly high people, they don't really bother anyone, and drunk people can very often be quite annoying and loud and whatever. So
I think in general tourists just go to the Netherlands to smoke weed because they think it's like the weed capital of the world, but in general Dutch people don't smoke weed that often.
The situation in Taiwan right now is marijuana is considered a class 2 drug, which is hard drug, same as amphetamine. What would you have to say about that?
You can't really put it on the same scale as amphetamine, like meth. I grew up in an area where meth is actually quite a big issue, and believe me, there's a huge difference. In addictive level wise, in health wise, and also its effect on people's behavior, everything.
I don't want to mess with that. I mean, I'm only here for a year, so I haven't done it here yet, and I don't think I'm going to do it here because it's just too much of a risk. But I wish it wouldn't be like that because I think it's not a bad drug.
I think it's sad because in the US it used to be there was a really bad stigma attached to it. It used to be, and what happened was the US now has an opioid crisis because people weren't allowed to use marijuana to manage pain. And I think what the US is starting to find now is there's tons of people who are addicted to opioids, which is terrible, and they were getting that from their doctors. And if there hadn't been a stigma like marijuana is bad, marijuana is a class 2 drug, marijuana is this drug, then potentially people would have been able to use marijuana to solve chronic pain, and we wouldn't have the opioid crisis.
And I've seen a lot of people here in Taipei getting way more drunk than they should, or really dangerously not controlling whatever they're doing. Marijuana is a little bit more safer that way. I'm not saying it's better, but it's just some things to consider, I guess.
If alcohol is legal, I think marijuana should be legal. It's actually less addictive to alcohol.
I would say it's a soft drug. I think it's even less bad than alcohol in my opinion. I've seen the effects of both, and I think there are more negative side effects to alcohol than to marijuana.
Yeah, and I also think it's a bit of a shame because Taiwan is very, very liberal and very open and forward-thinking in many other topics. Therefore, I would wish that, there might be even some bipartisan DPP-KMT consensus on this topic, which would be very nice.
So I've seen people chewing bitter nuts, and especially in the countryside. And I've read it's create some harm. You feel warm, you feel better, and it gives you energy to go through the day. So I was wondering, is it socially acceptable for people to chew belo nuts in Taiwan? And if so, why isn't it as acceptable to smoke marijuana? Because sometimes you can feel that betel nut binlan is also like causing harm to your body. It causes mouth cancer as well, and marijuana also causes harm to your body, and both are psychoactive. So I was wondering, what is the point in people making the difference between both?